Welcome back to another episode of the Thumb Strong podcast. It's been a couple weeks. We took off Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Hopefully everybody had an awesome Thanksgiving. We definitely did. We had our annual turkey trot, and we had about 155 people register, which was great. And we were able to make a big donation to help out some different funds in the community. So that was fantastic. As we're going through the holidays, and speaking of Thanksgiving, and we have Christmas coming up, there's a lot of things going on in everybody's lives. We're busy. We're still busy with work, but we're also trying to prepare for Christmas and buy gifts, and you got to plan gatherings and stuff like that. And so there's a lot of stress and chaos, and people are overwhelmed, and there's Christmas break with the kids and stuff like that. So today I want to talk about something that I've been using personally, especially lately. Like when it gets colder, it's dark really early, doesn't get light until super late in the morning, right? Days are short. There's a lot of excuses that we can make to not put our health and fitness first, right? So I kind of played around and came up with the framework of the reverse excuse strategy. So whatever excuse or reason that you're trying to convince yourself that you can't make time to go to the gym and get a workout in, or go out for a walk because it's super cold out and it's dark and you don't want to go out there, whatever you're trying to tell yourself to not do something that you should do, flip that script and basically tell yourself that's exactly why I should do it. So that's what we want to talk about today, along with some other mindset things. But that was just a realization that I had recently, and I shared it the other day because Tuesdays and Thursdays I've been trying to run just a couple miles just to keep the habit up or the behavior up, because we trained for that half marathon last year. We built that consistency of running every Tuesday, Thursday, and then Saturday, and I wanted to keep that behavior up. So this Tuesday, it was like 16 degrees in the morning, and it was about 30 degrees in the afternoon. I had worked all day. I was kind of thinking I would go running in the afternoon. I was kind of tired. I was like, man, I really don't want to go do this. But I was like, okay, if I'm tired and it's cold, that's my reason or excuse. That's exactly why I need to go do it, because by doing so, I'm going to feel refreshed and energized and super happy I did it. And so I went out, just bundled up a little bit more than normal, went out, ran 2 miles, felt absolutely amazing. I got like an extra couple hours of productivity done because I felt that boost of energy, felt really good. And then I posted it in our 5K group because I wanted everybody else to understand, hey, I feel the same thing you guys do. Like there's days I don't want to work out, you don't want to work out, don't want to go out for a run. It's cold out, it's dark out, whatever it is. But that's exactly why you should do it, especially when it's times like now with the holidays where you have extra stress, extra overwhelm, you're extra busy, you're extra tired. That's when you really need it most. So that's what we're going to talk about.
Yes, 100%. To go into that a little bit, and it's not just a mindset thing, it is a psychological thing that actually happens. There's some physiological things that happen when we're doing this. It's very interesting, just like based on what you tell yourself about things, how it impacts your body. So just like a core thing to start off with, like your brain's going to seek comfort by default. So the amygdala part of your brain, if it perceives discomfort, it perceives that as more effort, and your brain is constantly trying to be as efficient as possible. Your brain uses 20% of the energy of your body. So like 20% of the calories you take in is used by your brain, even though it's only 2% of the weight of your full body, right? So it's a big powerhouse. It's got
like 10 times more.
Correct. Yeah. So it's just constantly trying to protect you in a way that might not always be good for you, but it's trying to keep you comfortable. And then that's where there's another part of the brain called the prefrontal cortex, where that gets strengthened the more you do things like that, where you do things when you don't feel like doing them. and then that can override the amygdala, the like fear of like, no, we need to stay comfortable. And so it starts with a conscious mindset, but then it starts to develop almost like the brain muscle, and then you're able to do it, like switch on the like, hey, I feel uncomfortable, or this is discomfort, like this is not comfortable, I don't want to do this. But then that prefrontal cortex part of your brain starts to get stronger and more active and be able to like override that signal of, hey, stay comfortable, don't do this, like it's going to be uncomfortable, just to override it a little bit more easily and more frequently, so then you're able to do the uncomfortable things, but that are
Easier.
actually good, that are good for you, and do it easier.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some real life scenarios we can kind of go into.
Yeah.
So like, here's some common things that we would all typically say to ourselves. And then there's kind of the reverse excuse of like, okay, here's why we should do it. And here's kind of the benefit of doing it, coming off of what Bethany was talking about with our mindset and developing that muscle in our brain. So when we say we're too tired, right? So maybe you're planning on going to the gym, or maybe in the morning, after work in the morning, it's typically when we work out. It's also typically when we're most tired, right? So I'm too tired to go work out. Well, movement boosts energy. It increases blood flow, the endorphins and dopamine. So those feel good hormones, the things that actually make you feel better. So for when you are tired, instead of using that as an excuse not to work out, use it as the cure, so that you have more energy. I've never finished a workout and not felt like more energized. Just have that dopamine and endorphin rush where you just kind of feel better, right?
I mean, there's some workouts where if you push it really hard, like you don't feel energized after.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, I guess I should say there are some where if we have to like kill ourselves for a competition or something, you typically feel a little bit drained. But 99% of the time, you're not going to complete failure or exhaustion in a workout to where you're actually going to feel better afterward.
Yeah, and the research supports having a 20 minutes of moderate exercise. You get a 20% or more boost of energy. So like you get an increase in energy if you're doing like a 20-minute bout of exercise. Or I mean, it could be more too, like if you work out for a little bit longer, but it should be moderate exercise, not like a 10 out of 10 effort scale. It would be, like a 6 to 8 out of 10 effort scale, and then you'll get that energy increase afterwards.
Yep. Another good one, I'm stressed out. So too stressed, got a lot going on, right? Stress workouts, especially strength training, but any kind of movement is like one of the best antidepressants, anxiety, stress relievers, right? So, and there's actual studies and research that do show that exercise and working out can be even more effective than some antidepressant medications, right? So, if you are stressed, go for a walk, go for a run, go lift some weights. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many clients I've worked with over the years that when they come in from after work, and I used to have a group of ladies, and they work stressful jobs, they had kids, all that stuff going on, and they'd come in and like, oh, we had a rough day, Taylor. Can we do something that's going to be fun? Yeah. And so usually that consisted of ball slams. Yeah. And so we take the heavy medicine balls, you pick it up over your head, and you slam it on the floor as hard as you possibly can. And I would just tell them, whoever or whatever you're angry at, just picture that on the ball, and they would just, man, would they ever have a great workout. Go after it and feel better when they were done. It's kind of like punching a punching bag, when you're frustrated or something, when you do those med ball slams and other stuff, right? So you burn off that cortisol, you gain emotional control, you relieve that stress, you release those happy endorphins in the body. Serotonin. Yep. So when you're stressed, that doesn't mean don't work out. It means go work out. And I would recommend something that's going to relieve the stress even more, like ball slams or punching a punching bag, something like that, right? I'll do a couple more, and then if you want to do like the last, I'll do 4, you do 4 if you want. Okay. So next one, I'm too busy. So busy, obviously everybody's going to be busy certain times of the year. I mean, most of us are busy all year, really. But don't wait until you're not busy, because then the next time you get busy again, you're just going to use that same excuse. So if you are busy, just try to create a little bit more structure. So it's like, okay, where can I fit in a 20-minute workout? Like Bethany said, 20 minutes and you gain 20% more energy. As long as you're going at like a 6 to an 8 out of 10, you're not completely killing yourself in that workout. So, and even like 2 to 3 days a week, like we say. So literally 40 to 60 minutes a week. And you could feel way better. And that's like less than 1% of your week.
Yes.
So, 1 hour would be, gosh, like a little over 0.5%, I think, of your week. I don't know.
It's a very, very small amount.
But anyways, another one, it's too cold. So that's obviously a really, really popular one right now. Cold equals resilience booster. So when we talked about that part of our brain, that's like, oh, it's cold out. That's going to be super uncomfortable. I don't want to do it. The more you expose yourself to something that is uncomfortable, like, think about like the ice baths. That's super popular across the nation and the world right now because it builds that mental toughness, that resilience. You're able to handle stressors easier. So like she said, that muscle gets stronger. So that way, when the kids come home and they're giving you a hard time, maybe you had a really rough day at work with your boss or your coworkers, you're able to handle those stressors way easier because you've built that mental toughness muscle up in your brain. So that cold actually is an even better catalyst for building that muscle. And I actually just talked to Bethany a second ago, like for me, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, I feel even better and even more accomplishment and more endorphins when I go out and finish a run when it's 20 compared to when it's 60 degrees and sunny, because it's more comfortable when it's 60 degrees and sunny. It's like, oh, it's beautiful out here. This is great. I can go out here and walk and run. That's no problem. But when you have to bundle up and go out and it's windy and it's cold and it's snowing, it's way harder. Don't get me wrong. And you don't want to do it. But when you get done, you feel even more accomplished, even better, more energized. It's actually really, really quite rewarding. Not to mention, you build immunity. You get that mental toughness, as I mentioned, and you just come back feeling energized and alive. When I did my cold plunges, at the very end, I would dunk my head underneath the water, and then I would come out, and it was invigorating. Like it was like the craziest rush of endorphins, almost like the most powerful stimulant you could probably possibly have. It was like if you had 5 cups of coffee in one little shot, and then just, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It just gave you that boost. So, what are some other common things, Bethany? You can take the last 4.
I do want to piggyback off of the cold stuff. So, your norepinephrine, which is it is like a sort of a feel good hormone, but endorphin, it is boosted by 200 to 300% when you do like a cold exposure activity. And so I wanted to break down like the immune response of your body. And so cold exposure, like one single cold exposure, doesn't magically boost your immune system, but instead it stresses it enough to adapt your body over time, like if you're consistent with it, and it like improves your immunity. You get less upper respiratory infections. Like they've done different studies on this. Like if you do regular cold exposure, you get decreased upper respiratory infections. People who finish cold showers for 30 days reported 29% fewer sick days versus the control.
Wow. So does it have to be a cold plunge? This could just be any kind of cold exposure, like a cold shower.
Cold shower, and then like again, repeated cold exposure. It increases your white blood cell counts. That's like your fighter cells, and your NK cells, which is like your immune frontline fighters. Like that's what, if you get some sort of an infection, those go and fight it off right away.
Mm-hmm.
And so, essentially, what you want to do, how it can be effective, is ideally you want it to be in the 8 to 20 minute range at the minimum. You could go higher than that, but 8 to 20 minutes is a really good sweet spot of like an outdoor walk or run. Or you could do a mix of walking and running, but like even just walking outside for 8 to 20 minutes, it should be cold enough to produce shivering or noticeable discomfort, and you want to do it 3 to 5 times a week to actually produce an adaptation of that immune response and stress response.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're like walking or running, it increases your heat and you end up adapting faster. So you like have the temperature stress. So you do get more adapted to controlling your body temperature. Like you go outside and it doesn't feel as cold because you get more used to it too. However, instead of just like passive cold exposure where you are sitting in a tub, active cold exposure actually has like a synergistic effect. And so you actually get more benefits from it. So if you're doing those small, short, it's not like go outside and run for 3 hours. Right. You might get sick. But those very short bursts of exposure where you are moving and getting that cold exposure and that cold time helps to adapt your body. And you get like more stress tolerance, more immune readiness, which is great, especially coming up into this season.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to note that. So there's more benefits than that too.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Mental and physical benefits. So the next one is I don't feel like it. And for this one, it's valuing discipline over motivation. Discipline is greater than your motivation, and telling yourself that feelings don't decide your future. There's a lot of things that we do that we don't feel like doing, but we do them anyways. And it's just, nobody feels like cleaning the bathroom. It's like, but you got to do it anyway, right? I don't feel like doing the dishes ever, but I got to do them anyways.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And one psychological thing to think about is that your emotional resistance peaks before you start. So you always have the highest resistance before you start something. But once you start and are engaged, it falls rapidly.
Yeah.
And I feel that a lot with workouts. And so I'll usually tell myself, okay, just do 5 minutes then.
Yeah.
And so once you start, then you're engaged and it's, oh, okay, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And you just, whatever you have to do to convince yourself to start.
Yeah.
If it's doing the dishes, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to do 2 dishes. Or I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes and do the dishes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I can do it for 5 minutes. It's like, oh, I can wash 1. I can put away 1. But then once you start, then you're like, okay, well, I might as well just keep going at this point.
Something that I do is if I have to like warm up lunch or like while my food is cooking for lunch or something,
Mm-hmm.
like I have nothing else to do. It's just cooking, right? Or maybe I have something in the microwave for 2 minutes. Okay, I could sit here and scroll on my phone, or I could turn around and do some of the dishes while I'm standing right here waiting for my food to warm up. And then once you, like you said, like once you do some, usually my food will finish and then I'll finish up the dishes and then it's done and then I eat. So it's like try to maximize your efficiency and your time.
Yeah.
By starting to do something. And then like another example is some of the Metcons that we've done, especially when we were training really hard. There was times where we're like, oh man, we don't want to do this, but we just hit the start button. That 10-second countdown timer is magical.
It's enough to give you.
It's so magical because as soon as it hits 1, you have nothing to do but start.
Yep, you're like, well, guess it's time to go.
We gotta go. Yep. So
the next one is I'm overwhelmed, and movement helps to clear your mental clutter. Overwhelmed just means that your brain is scattered, and so clearing that will help you to feel less overwhelmed. One thing with that is exercise increases the prefrontal cortex function, so it just means you have better executive control. So it actually improves your cognition, your thinking, and it improves your discipline as you're doing that as well, just for movement. Also the I messed up today, and small wins, or like recognizing your small wins, helps to break that mental spiral, which then prevents like an actual spiral of going right off the rails. So if you do have that all or nothing thinking, it does lead to like a relapse of old bad habits coming back. And then the other one is, I want cozy. I want to be comfortable. And start to view comfort as stagnation. Like, yes, it's nice to be comfortable sometimes. Like, it doesn't mean you have to make your whole life uncomfortable. But just know if you're always comfortable, you're going to be stagnant. So you're not going to get the changes that you want. Like, growth requires discomfort. Mm-hmm. And so if you're not uncomfortable, then you're not growing in the way that you want to.
You should aim to be just a little bit discomfortable every day for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
even for that 8 to 20 minutes or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah. And along the lines of that, most excuses are symptoms. You can see them as symptoms, and then view action as the antidote. So it fixes. Yeah, it's the counter action to it.
Yep. So what you can kind of think about is, what is an excuse that you've caught yourself making recently, and how did you reverse it, or how could you reverse it if it happened again in the future? The next section that we're going to go into is like why this matters, especially right now. Obviously, we've already talked about it, but December triggers, we've got our busy schedules, holiday parties, cold weather. There's more sugar, alcohol, and treats typically because we have family gatherings and Christmas and Thanksgiving. And there's obviously less sunlight. There's more stress. Kids' schedules, with like holiday break and stuff, there's more just chaos going around. So what people want is they want that comfort, that warmth, that ease. I'll start in January. I'm going to wait a little bit. I'm going to enjoy the holidays, which, hey, we're not saying you need to go and work out every day and not enjoy your holidays. What we're saying is keep the momentum alive. Keep doing it even when you're busy. You're going to feel way better, and you'll get a head start on the new year. So December, the reality is December is where most people lose that momentum. And so this is where that separation happens. People who lean into discomfort now enter January with momentum instead of starting from scratch. So instead of going way down and then trying to start from scratch, January makes it way harder to stick with those kind of resolutions and stuff. So if you just start now doing your best, and we pretty much established like 3 days a week, even for 20 minutes, is all you really need to have that momentum, feel better, do something a little bit uncomfortable. It's only going to lead to that growth, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of we'll talk a little bit more on that last section, discomfort equals growth. So why being uncomfortable is the key to becoming your strongest self. Bethany, you want to go into this one again? Because
I will. Yep.
Okay, cool.
One quick thing for December. People are more likely, 42% more likely to skip a workout in December. And that's from like real data from like class passes and stuff like that.
Wow.
And then this is also when like seasonal affective disorder starts to take hold. You're like lower light, you drop your dopamine levels, your serotonin goes lower. Mm-hmm. So it's like you're less motivated to go work out, but that's the time that you need to go do it.
Yep.
So the next part, more of the discomfort equals growth. Comfort feels good now, but it's robbing your future self. Like you're going to have future discomfort from being comfortable now.
Yep.
And so like being uncomfortable, embracing the discomfort, you get better health, better fitness, more energy, improved mood, all those different things, stronger identity, more resilience, long-term success, better immune response, all the things. And some things that help to create that growth that are uncomfortable is waking up early, running in cold weather, lifting when you're tired or not motivated, meal prepping when you don't want to, saying no to food you don't actually want, and doing workouts even on busy days, doing something. Because comfort's never built a strong body or a strong mind. It makes you soft. Comfort makes you soft. It sounds like I'm like a Navy SEAL or something like that, but yeah, you get
on that too. Like you mentioned, where was it up at the top? Comfort feels good now, but it steals your confidence later. Mm-hmm. So like, if it's uncomfortable to work out and walk, wake up early, eat healthy food, drink water, whatever, that stuff doesn't really, in reality, take a whole lot of time when you break it down in comparison to how much time we have in a week. So if you were comfortable now, the likelihood that you're going to be uncomfortable later is very, very high, meaning the likelihood that you might develop some sort of disease, some sort of, you know, health issue or whatever you want to call it, obesity, you're going to be uncomfortable 24/7 at that point. If you have heart disease, diabetes, if you're obese, you can't do the things you want to do. You're on medications. You're limited by your ability. You're going to be uncomfortable 24/7. So the question becomes, would you rather be uncomfortable for 20 to 30 minutes a day right now, or would you rather be uncomfortable 24/7, 20 years from now, and for the remainder of your life?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a small sacrifice to make, to dramatically reduce the risk of being uncomfortable in the future, right?
Yes.
So that's the way I would think about it. So some practical tools for you guys. Like I said, I kind of came up with like the reverse excuse framework. So when your brain says I shouldn't because, or I don't want to because, flip that. That's exactly why you should. So if you say, hey, I'm too tired to go work out. Oh, well, that's exactly why I need to go work out. It's too cold outside. Oh, well, that's a great opportunity for me to go get some cold exposure, get better, feel more accomplished, feel more energized, right? So the other one is a 20-minute rule. You don't need a full workout. Like Bethany said, you can commit to 20 minutes, even just 3 days a week. Most of the time, you'll do more once you start. Like we also said, the hardest part is just getting started. So my suggestion is, the hardest part is like making it to the gym or like getting out for your walk. So if you can set yourself up for success by setting out your gym bag with your gym clothes the night before, putting your walking or running shoes right by the front door the night before, or just putting them on and lacing them up. Sometimes just putting on your shoes, you're like, okay, now I got to go for a walk, right? So that's the hardest part. That's that barrier. And then once you start, like you said, it just dramatically becomes easier. Like that emotional response declines, right? The comfort challenge. So for the next 14 days, do one uncomfortable thing every day. So for example, you could walk outside in the cold, go to bed early, wake up early, say no to the extra dessert, do a workout when you don't feel like it, stretch instead of sitting on the couch. So this will build that resilience really fast. Your excuses aren't stop signs, they're signals. So discomfort is the path to growth. December is the most important month to keep showing up because it's going to set you up for that new year. I would also suggest, and we actually just talked about this in our little meeting together before we started the episode, is setting your goals now for New Year. Don't wait until January 1st to set your goals. Start thinking about what you would like to accomplish and what kind of behaviors you would like to change in your life for the new year. That way you have a plan and you can get a head start on it right now. You don't need to be perfect. You just have to be consistent.
Yes.
That's another thing I'd say. I would say our volume or level of intensity is probably lower right now. The dials, it's not as high as it was, especially with like Thanksgiving and stuff. We took a couple of days off last week. I've been hunting a lot. Yeah, we're not training for anything. So our dial is not a 10 out of 10 either. But we're going to keep showing up and we're going to keep getting our workouts in. If you reverse your excuses, you train your identity. So use that reverse excuse strategy and you will retrain that identity. You'll build that muscle in your brain that creates that mental resilience, that mental toughness. And then every decision becomes a little bit easier. Mm-hmm. So every time you lean into that thing you don't want to do, you become a little stronger physically and mentally. And that's what being thumb strong is all about.
Mm-hmm. I want to say one thing with consistency. Missing once is not harmful. But when you miss twice in a row, it doubles your probability of habit collapse. And so consistency produces that identity momentum, and it's more likely you're going to stick through it. So it's okay to miss something, holidays going on, whatever. It's normal that people are going to miss from that. But don't miss twice in a row, because then you double your chance of slipping off. Like that's when people fall off the rails and, they miss weeks or a month instead of just one class.
Awesome. So hopefully this was helpful. This was just something that I was thinking about the other day when I was going out for my run, and I figured it'd be a great topic to talk about. We kind of covered that reverse excuse strategy, but we also went into a lot of like the mindset, talked a little bit about discomfort and how that's going to lead to growth and why you should do those things you don't want to do. And it's even more powerful in times like right now where it's cold, it's dark, you're busy, you're stressed. You actually get more benefit from doing the exact same workouts, right? Because it's even more discomfortable, right? Or uncomfortable. Discomfortable is the right word. But anyways, hopefully that's helpful. If you liked it, make sure to let us know. Subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube and like it. That helps us reach more people. And until next time, stay healthy, and we'll see you guys soon.